We are live. I hope everyone will enjoy. Today we are doing a tier list. Just like what the title says, it's the tier list of all 136 episode Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did. Now, to do this tier list, I actually took a look to every single episode uh, 2 months ago, and it took me basically 2 months to watch the entire show for video purposes. Um, so, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. retrospective coming next week. Now, just like any good tier list, we need some rules here. So, I decided each tier need at least 5 episodes in it to be interesting. I also added more rules. We got S and S plus. S, maximum 20 episodes in it. S plus, maximum 10 episodes. And S plus also need to pick at least one episode of each single season. So these are the rules. And because I don't want this video to take like 4 hours to just cover each single episode, I will point out like the biggest takeaway. So right now, before we start with the top 5 worst episode, let's take a look to the entire tier list I made. So in S plus, we get these. S, we get these. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of season 3, season 1, and the top of the chain, and a bit of season 2 as well. My favorite season of the show were 1, 2, 3. They were the strongest season, so obviously, because they were my favorite season, a lot of episodes from this season end up on top of this tier list. Now, if anyone has any question as we are doing this live, just ask it. That's why we are live, to interact with viewer. If you watch this on playback, then you can ask your question in the comment section of this stream. I like to answer people questions. Now, with that being said, let's start off with the worst episode the entire show ever aired. The season 6 finale. Well, actually, no, never mind. That's not the worst. It's actually a window of opportunity. This is episode 2 of season 6. Rewind. The worst of all is the second episode of season 6. Season 6 is for me the worst season the show ever had. That was really hard for me to watch, and if I wasn't making that tier list and my retrospective on the show, I think I would have tapped out. For real. And I think I would have tapped out in season 5 actually. Now, with that being said, let's speak out about the negative and the positive in that episode. Now, be advised, it's not a full episode review, it's only my notes. And my notes, I try my best to be brief, so it's clear for me to see how I will scale this episode. With that being said, let's start off with the negative. Character being plot device. This is something that pissed me off so much in season 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a recurring issue in the first 3 seasons. If some character are turned into plot device, that didn't bother me that much because these seasons were really strong and well written. But coming into season 4, people do stuff because the plot needs them to do stuff. So this is my first dislike. My second dislike, too many character. I got lost. In season 6, I will be honest, I remember season 6 being a mess. That was the season with the most character, and that was the season with the less episode. That was the season with the less time to craft the story, and guess what? There's like 40 storyline and 60 character. I'm not joking. This season is a mess. That was really bad. Now, next issue, new Coulson reveal. I didn't like at first when Sarge was wearing Coulson face. The whole mystery on why was interesting, but I was like, I miss Coulson. I miss him. But I was fine with him dying in season 5. I feel like season 5 should have ended the show, to be honest. Season 5 felt much more like a closure for the entire TV show than season 7 did. Now, with that being said, let's keep going here. The new villain. They are really bad. Season 6 have really bad villains. I think after season 3, most of the villains were really bad. Like, the best villain Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had was Grant Ward. He was hands down my favorite. He was actually the only villain I'm like, he's up there with all of my favorite villain in comic book TV shows. But then you have the rest, the other villain I didn't really care about. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was better suited to give you good main characters. And I think the main characters were much better than the villains. The villains were really a letdown for me throughout the entire show, to be honest. Outside of Grant Ward, the villain don't really work well for me. Now, they did set up. He loved Triangle. Why? Why? That breaks me. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All of you used to be better than this. Better than this. Love Triangle. Come on. For real. Is it CW? I'm laughing at CW, but I do like CW, but I hate Love Triangle. It's pathetic. There's no other word. It's one of the worst tool you can ever make. It's a freaking Love Triangle. May going alone, so I guess she did something because she was like, oh, I will deal with that myself instead of having like backup. I guess this is when they had a stage and she went in the truck and then she got captured because of that. That was stupid. For real. Plot armor, I guess someone had super strength and it didn't kill someone else, I think. Maybe. I actually forgot what was the plot armor there. Plot armor is something really popular, like, in the entire show. Almost every season, there's at least that 1 or 2 episodes where I'm like, plot armor saved that character. So, it's not the only time you will see that critique. Oh, and another world-ending threat. So, Season 5 was world-ending threat. I didn't like it. Season 6 was world-ending threat again. And guess what? Season 7 as well. Why are you doing this? You were better than this, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You were better than this. For real. Now, what I liked, the new Coulson, even if I didn't really like the idea, I think it was well played by the actor. And it was interesting. And he felt different than our good Coulson we used to love for 5 seasons. So he was one of my likes. Despite not enjoying that much him wearing Coulson face. The villain were very interesting. They had charisma. When I speak about the villain in the plural, I speak about Coulson team. Coulson team was interesting. The psycho girl, the guy that speaks too much, the dragon. These were actually interesting characters. And at the end, they were not a big bad. And they were much more interesting than that other girl that wanted to destroy the world because that's what villains do, I guess. Um, Fitz, May, great character, well acted, well played, interesting. I always like having them around. The store scene, I am guessing this is like when they did a robbery, the villain, that was interesting. The music was actually good. I liked the music throughout the entire show. So I will tell you this. Fitz and Enoch. Enoch was the best part of season 5, 6, and 7. He was hands down the best part of this season. Now, the next one, fight choreography. As usual, they hire good staff for the fight choreography. Now, I will also say this. It was a funny episode. And I will also say this. Mac, even if it was part of that really trash love triangle, it was actually interesting. So, this episode is the worst the show ever had. This is also the lowest score I ever gave to any Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode. And the score was 4.5 out of 10. This is Arrow Season 4 material we are talking about right now. This is really trash. If I ever rewatch the show, I will skip Season 6. Season 6 is really bad. Now, the next one we will cover. I just move on here. We will cover Potato Soup in Season 4. It's episode 12. Oh my, this is another really low one. So let's start off with my dislikes. All the politics, all the teams, like Evasion of Privacy team, it was poorly handled by amateur. They were not good writer dealing with that team, and that bothered me so much. The fake May bothered me a lot. The trust issues at the end were really bad. I don't like trust issues. Trust issues are a lazy writing device. I really don't like that. The story contradicts itself for the plot twist. I actually forgot why I said that. And to be honest, season 4 is a blur for me. I liked the start of it, the end of it, but the LMD storyline in the middle was really bad. I wanted to tab out of the show. I wanted to give up on the show at that point. That was a really bad story arc. I didn't like it at all, so sorry if I forget why I mentioned that. Pep Talk! They don't do that often in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or at least they don't bother me that much in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They are usually well done. But the pep talk, I forgot which one because it's like 2 months ago, and as I said, that middle part of season 4 was a blur. It was really bad. The message, because the message is so important. It's so important to insert political agenda and ideology and trash stuff like that. Now, hiding what should have been destroyed. I guess this is fake May. I think that was in the episode where they find out that May was the fake May, and they don't destroy her. They just keep her around because reason. What was that, bro? That was bad. Because this will bite them back in the butt later on. Because this is what stupid characters do. They do a choice, and then that choice catch up to them. Character being plot device. Hell yeah. We like that, right? So here I had a bit more stuff I liked. It was still very bad despite all the dislikes. The opening scene I liked it. The shield meeting are usually really cool. The watchdog for once were something I liked. The brothers, the villain, I guess that's the villain of the week, or Ratcliffe, one of the two. I can't remember. Daisy and Daisy again. Daisy was hands down the best part of season 4. Funny, fits as usual, fits great. A Gemma, great. The brothers again. Oh, I think the brothers is like the twins. I think finding out who is the mole was interesting. Daisy and the end credit scene. So this episode was another 4.5 out of 10. Another really bad episode I want to forget. Now, next one. The worst episode in season 7 and the episode that gave me some kind of PTSD from season 6. This one is episode number 10, Stolen. Let's start off with the dislikes. Everyone falls into the Chromicrom spell. Drama around secrets. So I will say this, I hate when secrets are used for drama. And every villain that season is stupid enough to play along with the Chromicrom because they can get something out of it. This is turning all of your villain into plot device for a worse villain. That season had issues. Season 7 was the best after season 3 ended, but it wasn't as good as 1, 2, and 3. The villain were still really bad. The next one, villain equal dumb. Yeah, I guess. Feeling in always, something that was really there in season 6. Garrett wasn't great. He doesn't need mastery on his power to use his powers. And this is interesting because in the past, it was shown to us how people were able to train and get a good grasp on how to control their powers. Having powers meant training. Garrett doesn't need any and he's already perfect. The end credits was bad. Now let's speak about the goods. The mystery, Coulson back in charge. I like these two things. Team meeting, that was kind of cool. The OP, emotional, fight choreography, mother's sacrifice. So yeah, at the end I gave 5 out of 10 to this episode. I guess that was passable, like that was mediocre at best. But that was clearly the worst episode this season had. Now, the next one. The next one is episode 15 of season 4, Self-Control. That's funny because I remember this one being really bad. Plot convenience about the clones and Daisy finding them. So she just go in the basement and then she finds out there's an army of clones. Where they come from, we don't know. Why did she go there at that point? We don't know. Plot need that to happen. Weird dialogue, weird line. Sometimes they try to be funny, it doesn't work. Plot convenience, again. Right item, right place. Plot armor on 2000 on Daisy. Like, as I said, plot armor, it's kind of big. Like when the LMD hits you and they have super strength, they should kill you or break something, but not in this show, because this show would end after one season. Because I'm pretty sure in season one, like, the amount of time plot armor saves someone, it's kind of high. Now, what I liked, the opening scene, Daisy fits Gemma dreaming world. Robot Radcliffe dying. That was well deserved. Fight choreography, May, and I think there was a moment in that episode that was actually emotional. Now, outside of that, 5 out of 10 for this episode. Self control, really bad episode. Anyway, the last one in F tier for failure. Season 6 finale. The pacing was godly awful. And I repeat that twice. So this meant maybe the episode lasted for 42 minutes, but I felt like they could have ended it in 30 or 20. This is how bad the pacing was. The villain, as usual, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cannot write good villain after season 3. How slow yo-yo turn. So I didn't like Nerf. I don't like Nerf in general in any stories. I'm kind of glad they fixed it in season 7, but I don't like it when they nerf characters. I just don't. When you want to give powers to a character, let that character shine with it, you know? More time travel because season 5 went well, right? Right? Well, I know a lot of people liked season 5. I know I did not. Now, what I liked, Daisy, Deke, Yo-Yo, Deke again, Gemma fits, Enoch. I will repeat myself. Enoch was the best part of season 5, 6, and 7. He was well casted, he was entertaining, he was funny, he was likable for too many reasons. I think he hands down stole the show. He was my favorite character, I think, in at least the last 3 seasons. Now, what else? Sarge, May, Shield, Enoch again. I guess I didn't like the final fight because I don't see any mention of any fight. So I guess that's to tell it, you know. So the score was 5.5 out of 10. Fun fact, the last one in E tier is also another 5.5 out of 10. And that was the worst episode in season 1. So that's kind of funny. That's a good parallel. Now, let's move on to S tier. So, I will not spend like hours and hours to explain these, but the biggest takeaway from it, season 4 first half was amazing. Season 4 middle part was bad. Really bad. Now, I will speak about some of the title. You see Closure, it's an A+, but it was a borderline S tier. I really like Closure, and I remember Closure as being one of my favorite episodes that season, but on a critical standpoint, it's a bit weak here. I don't remember if it was a 10 out of 10, and I don't want to look because it would take me too long to look into it, but Closure is really good. I remember well Closure. It was well done. Now, uh, 4772 hours in season 3 was another great episode. It was centered around Gemma, and for once, a bottle episode was great. There's no other word. It was great. Now, the well, I can't remember, but I remember liking a lot season 1. Bouncing back, I don't remember it, but I guess this is I, so it was good. I'd assume. What if this is a very interesting one? What if was one of the best episodes in the back half of this really rough season? What if is basically the first episode where we explore and visit this framework world? I liked the framework world a lot. My biggest issue with season 4 is the LMDs and how they closed everything. So what if was really good? Meet the new boss. It bothered me a lot that Coulson wasn't the director anymore, but they had good reason and it was well written. So I kinda liked it. And by the end of this season, I actually cared a lot about the new director, and he was a great character. So I'm glad they added him into the mix. Now, a very interesting one. Laws of nature. They leave so many good seeds to flourish in season 3, like the new wave of meta-human, or inhuman, I should say. That was very interesting. Um, what else? Fractured House was a great episode for Grant Ward, and one of the reasons why I remember Grant Ward being that great villain, because he had 3 seasons of build up, and during all 3 seasons, you feel like he's changing as a character, and the change they make were great, well handled by good writers. Now the asset, I think that was like, I actually forgot the asset, but since it's very high, I'd assume it was an episode I liked a lot. The Good Samaritan was a great episode. It was borderline S plus. If I didn't added that rule, every season must end up in S plus. I think The Good Samaritan would replace Sleep. Leap would not be part of S plus. I know it for a fact, because season 6 was atrocious. It doesn't deserve that spot, but A. Now we are moving on to what I'm talking about. S plus. As I just said, Leap. That was such an atrocious season. It's generous, it's there. It's just because of my rule. Now, moving to making friends, influence other people. I can't really remember this one, but since it's quite high, I think that was one of my favorite episodes of season 2. That's why it went there. And I guess that was also a 10 out of 10. Because there's no way I have 2 season 2 episode up there if they are not 10 out of 10. Nothing personal, I actually remember this one well. That was a great one. After the rough episode where people with trust issues suddenly trust people they should not trust, that's a breath of fresh air that Daisy is actually hostage. She's held hostage by Grant Ward, and it's just Grant Ward mission. And she realized she can basically track Ward by being with Ward. That was interesting because she was trying her best to buy some time so the other agent can catch up to her and maybe capture Ward. And then the reintroduction to the cyborg guy, the bald guy with cybernetic, like the bald guy that has cyborg parts, was great. Always liking it when he's around. That was a very good episode. Season 1 is one of the best season on TV out there. It's not top 10 comic book because comic book had a lot of better season, but I will say this, it's up there. It's worth watching. No regrets for X18. I don't quite remember this one actually. Maybe that's the one where they actually leave the framework to come back to Earth. I guess. Or this is when they realize like one regret can mess up your entire life. I actually forgot about that one, to be honest. But if it's up there, it's because it's good. And it's better than nothing personal. And of the beginning. Okay, I will be honest. I remember much more turn than this one. But if this one is there, that means he's there. Turn. Okay, this one is a blast. Turn is the first time where there's many plot twists in a row, and they are entertaining, and they are good, and they are handled by a good writer, and they surprise you, and like it's at that point you're like, okay, the glass girl may be Hydra, and she tried to find out who else is Hydra, but then one of the turn is Garrett is Hydra, and Coulson is basically told, or actually people think Coulson is Hydra as well because of Garrett. And then a turn, Coulson realizes Garrett is Hydra and he's not, and Glass's girl is actually not Hydra. And then another turn is Grant at the end. Grant Ward being Hydra as well, and basically killing Glass's girl and unleashing Garrett, and being like that big bad. So turn was action packed. It was great. They did try to plant some seed for a relationship between Ward and Daisy, but here's the thing, Ward only wanted to use Daisy, and that was interesting. Turn. The best episode of season 1. Hands down the best one. SOS. So, this is a two-parter, and because it's there, that means both part were 10 out of 10. Otherwise, making friend influence people would be the only one up there. SOS, well, what I remember the most is villain mother basically achieve her goal and turn like people inhuman and kill like human. And what I remember the most is how they flipped on us was the really bad person. It's not Daisy father, it's Daisy mother. And Daisy father is actually very passionate father. He likes his wife, he likes his daughter, and he's willing to do whatever it takes for them. And most of the time he was manipulated by the mother, making the mother a somewhat interesting villain for that aspect at least. She is much better than anything we got after season 4. Or even after season 3, to be honest. She wasn't the best villain out there, but she was much better than most of them. Um, I also remember having tears in my eyes when the father kills the mother to save the daughter. That was action packed. That was so sad. It had such a weight. This was a blast. And I remember after seeing it for the first time, I was like, I'm so excited for season 3. I want to see season 3. And right now, I speak about that. I want to rewatch the first 3 seasons. I'm telling you, I want to rewatch the first 3 seasons. Right now, I'm into Gotham. That's the next tier list here. SOS, great episode, good memories of it. Parting Shot, hands down the best episode in season 3, and one of the best episodes I've ever seen in any TV show. I'm not joking. That's one of my favorites. The emotional weight, the goodbye of 2 characters that were barely around, and to be honest, Hunter and Bobby, I wasn't a big fan of them. Like, they were around, they didn't bother me, but I didn't like them either. They were just like these characters that you're like, okay, they are fine. They are fine. But then they get that episode centered around them. They were able to make me care so much about them. Hunter became hands down my favorite character of the show at that point with that episode. And Bobby was great. And them sacrificing their career as agents to save the boat, to save everyone else, was endearing. It was deep. It was emotional. And then the other agent at the end, they are in the bar with them, and they all have a drink, and they say goodbye to Hunter and Bobby. I had tears in my eyes. Bobby and Hunter departure from the show was much better than all the time they spent in the show. This is a standout episode, and if I want my friend or someone I know to just discover this TV show, I will show them this episode. They will not cry because they will not know what's going on or understand what's going on, but I'm showing that episode because that episode is the art of the TV show. It's just amazing. Moving on. Principia, episode 12 of season 5. Now, depending on where you find the title may change, but I will say this, episode number 100 of the show, the entire show. This episode, I had tears in my eyes again. That was such an amazing episode. It was like, look, fans, you watch 100 episodes, here's your reward for it. To fully like it, you need to see every episode that came before, but it feels earned. And among all the 100 special I've seen, I think this one is my favorite. This is such a great 100 episode. And when I speak about it, I think I'm just going to go back and watch it again. I think this is what I will be doing later on today. I will rewatch this single episode because that was emotional. That was a well written episode. That made sense. That was good. That was entertaining. It did pack a really good punch. And this episode did stand out from the rest of the season. As you can see it on the tier list right now, I will fast show what's up. outside of this episode, this is A plus, A, B, C, D, E. So, you see, this episode is the only really good episode in season 5. And this was worth watching. This was another amazing episode. And here again, just like parting shots, if one of my friends asks, which episode do you recommend for me to see if I will like the show or not, I will tell him this one. This one. Just like parting shot. This one. Now, the king of the show, my favorite episode in the show, a time loop. I will say this, time loop in general, I've seen them so many times. Bottle episode, I've seen them so many times. Just on top of my mind, without searching too far in my memories. I remember DC's Legends of Tomorrow doing a bottle episode time loop. I remember Arrow doing a time loop episode. And Edge of Tomorrow is a whole movie about time loop. These are like the top 3. And I think among all of them, this time loop with episode 9 of season 7 is the big winner. You destroy everyone. So this time loop has consequence on what's going on. Because at the end of the time loop, a character you care for sacrifice himself for the team. In that scene where Enoch is slowly dying with Daisy and Coulson side by side with him, crying and staying until Enoch dies. It stole the show. I will say it stole the show. I had tears in my eyes. It was so sad. I was like, I didn't want Enoch to leave. And in this episode, they break the fourth wall so much because they knew season 7 was the last one, and they were like, this is your last mission, guys. This is your last season, viewer. And you're also left to wonder if they will actually win this final mission, if they will end up winning at the end. And Enoch, man, Enoch, the best part of season 5, 6, and 7 dies right there. In one of the most sad scenes you can experience of a character dying. He's basically a robot that shuts down, but that robot started to feel stuff, and he finds out that he will die for his friend and what he considers family. This episode was great. If you don't like this episode, you didn't like the show at all. Because this episode represents the best part of the entire TV show. Family, friendship, self-sacrifice. Because there is a lot of self-sacrifice throughout the entire series. And Enoch is just the last one to sacrifice himself. I speak about that episode, I want to rewatch it. Because here again, this is another really, really good episode. And if the entire show was on that level in terms of writing, I would recommend everyone I know to watch the show. So, we will take one last look to the entire tier list. I hope all of you liked my tier list. So let's take one last look. In F tier, I already explained pretty much everything. In the E tier, these are other bad episodes. In D tier are, here again, bad episode. C tier, they are actually just mediocre episode up there. And the B tier, where most of the episodes sit, was a good tier. So press F in the comment, press F in the chat for Enoch. Enoch, my boy, you carried the show on your shoulders. I will remember your sacrifice. Since I got no viewer at the moment, I will actually end this stream. I hope girls and guys enjoyed it a lot. Stay tuned. Next week, we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Retrospective Part number 1. And this is the first part out of 3. And we will cover deeper each single season. My thought, the teams, did I enjoy it? How was my experience with the show? The viewership, the comment from the audience, all the good stuff. And I will see you there. Like this stream, comment this video, and subscribe to the channel for more comic book content and video games as well, because we do video games as well. I want to do everything over here because I like lots of stuff and I want this channel to represent what I like. So this is Multi-Topic Talk, and I will sign out for